time for the bell. How many options will you sell? Fire up your platform, get ready to enter. But first, let's get the mindset centered. Hey, let's go. We're not here to gamble, we're here to trade. We follow the plan, that's how we get paid. Testing, trading, have success. Find what works for you and forget the rest. Stats and probabilities is what we're about. Time to dismiss greed and doubt. Focus on the process, not the money. And the profits will flow like honey. Power Hour Live, let's start the show. Come on, trade hackers, get ready to go. 0-day options, time to make bank. Get locked and loaded, then be ready to plank. Hey!
Hey everyone, welcome to Power Hour Live. Today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, May 27th. Currently have the S&P up 5 points. NASDAQ is down 25 points. Russell's down 4, and the Dow is up 215. Gold down 1%. Silver down 2. Notes and bonds a little bit green. 10-year yield down 0.5%. Oil down almost 5%. Natural gas up 2.5%. Soybeans, wheat, and corn all red. Euro and the pound pretty flat. And Bitcoin down 1.3%. VIX down almost 3%, currently at 16.53. Pretty tight range overall for Mr. SPX. A high of 75.30, a low of right at 7,500. As far as my trading today, my BICs are green, have not had one double stop. Can I please have a day in May with no double stops? I did close a few of the call sides out when we started to bounce, just in case there was some war news that might come out. So I closed a few of them for like 20 cents. But still have 2 tranches open. One is an 8:51 a.m. tranche. It's on the 50 calls and the 85 puts. So pretty solid position on that one to pin. And then my last tranche, which was a 75.15, 75.30, so just 15 wide. But that one's still open as well. So if I could get a pin or two with no double stops for once in May, that would be amazing. So that's my BICs. As far as my other stuff goes, let's see. Here's my day trading. I did a Google calls off of pre-market high. That was good for a little over 1,300. And then I did some SPY scalping of puts, 0 DTE puts below the pre-market low, and booked a little over 1,900 on those. So almost 3,300 on my day trades. And then I closed one DC time machine. That was number 159, basically a scratch trade, plus 45 on that. And then as far as open, okay, so I've got the ones that are open here. I did get one transform that was number 163. And so that has a little minimum profit of $35, max profit of $50.35. I got that one transformed today. That was number 163. The 2 that I have open with risk are number 164 and 165. When I put on 165 today, I mentioned that I was going to hold it overnight, but I think I'm actually going to close that one and then hold part of number 164 overnight. We do have a red folder event tomorrow morning, core PCE and GDP pre-market. So keep that in mind if you're planning to hold any risk over. So I've got, I went ahead and put in an order at $11 to close that number 165, which is the 8.9 DTE that I entered earlier. Looks like it's trading a little under that right now. We'll see if that hits pretty soon. Otherwise, I'll just close it. I didn't do a 1 DTE because VIX was contracted this morning. So that's it as far as my trading for the day. Biggest individual stock movers. APP is up 10%. Open Doors up 8%. Celsius is up 7%. Reddit's up 6.5%. MU was up big pre-market and then a little bit this morning, but it's only up about 4% today, which is basically red for MU. Did hit a new all-time high at the open, $956.16. Meta's up 3%. Meta all of a sudden took off to the upside. Definitely some news came out because there's massive volume with it as well. Was trading at 610, shot up above 635, shot up to 638. So I'm not sure what that news was, but something's happening in Meta. Today was kind of interesting price action for day trading. We had a lot of the Mag 7 kind of strong, and then a lot of chips weak. Tesla just kind of choppy, but it gapped up. Meta has a new subscription product, or they just released some subscriber information. Anyway. Let's see what else. I mentioned GDP and core PCE tomorrow. Nothing really scheduled on Friday. As far as main news on the juice, Trump was talking earlier, just saying things are going superb with Iran, same old, same old. Also said Oman will behave or we will have to blow them up. That's about the main red line news today. Just a little warning shot for Oman. I've got an order in to close number 165, and I don't have an order in yet, but I'm going to close part of 164. I might as well put that order in now. I'll close 8 of 15. Bitcoin gapped down a little bit and then stayed pretty weak all day. As far as the weakest stocks on my board, PDD is down 11%. Had earnings this morning. Qualcomm's down 8%. ARM is down 5%. Cryptos are down. MSTR's down 3.5%. Coin down 3%. do have a few earnings. After the close today, SNPS. Let's check the options in that one. I don't think I've ever traded that one. And now I see why. $5 wide bid and ask. That one should probably be removed. Snowflake is tradable. Snowflake has an expected move of around 24. It has exceeded the expected move 55% of the time in the last 5 years, 10 years. 5 years. Snowflake does have a tendency to move higher the day after earnings, regardless of what the gap is. The thing is pretty split with gap ups and gap downs and staying in or moving out. As far as the average move 7 days after earnings, if it closes up within the expected move, it has a tendency to move 2.8% on average over the next 7 days, about 2% over the next 30 days. If it closes above the expected move, if it exceeds the expected move, it has a tendency to move another 19% 7 days following earning, about 15% 30 days after. And if it moves down within the expected move or exceeds the expected move, it has a tendency to continue lower for both 7 and 30 day. Meanwhile, S&P getting a little dip coming in back to 75.20. Back in the red. SPY is. So Snowflake, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do anything. I don't really see anything that makes me want to take that trade unless I just decided to go directional. Snowflake hit a high of 280. Recently was as low as 120. Now it's back to 174. Krish, any inside information on Snowflake for us? No? Okay. Salesforce CRM. It has exceeded the expected move about 37% of the time, so stayed within about 63. Does have a tendency to move lower the day after earnings, regardless of the gap up or down. Expected move of about $16. It stayed inside the expected move the last 5 earnings announcements. And CRM, like most SaaS companies, has been getting beat down. Mark Benioff was on the All In podcast a couple weeks ago. It was a really good show. If you guys listen to that podcast, I'd definitely go back and listen to that. They are doing some massive stock buybacks at CRM right now. Of course, he has to exude confidence in his company, but he said some things that sounded pretty compelling for a case to be a buyer of CRM. I think I'll do a bull. I think I'll go bullish. Go against the trend here. No fill at $1.45. Is that CRM or Snowflake? Oh, just got filled at 1180 on my to close 8 of 15 on my number. $164. No fill at 146. Let's try 150. Filled at 150. VIX continuing to tumble. It's at lows of day, 16.46. Sounds like Claude needs to get up to date with the Flux earnings statistics. Flux is way better than Claude. That's a good question, Moel. That is a great question. Would anyone like to join me Friday for Power Hour? Be like a 10, 15, maybe 20-minute segment. You don't have to show yourself on camera. You could just do voice if you're shy, if you have a face made for radio. See, Moel, he's a good-looking dude. He likes to show his face off. So he came on with the camera and everything, but you don't have to do that. Just be a casual conversation amongst friends. Introduce yourself to the community. Let us know kind of where you're at in your trading journey, what your focus is. Sounds like Krish is nominating Vegas Michelle. Is that what you're saying, Krish? Or Articulate? I don't see Jan on here today. I think those are the only two. Moel, see, we're not getting anybody to raise their hand. Moel's his nickname's the Enforcer. Let me just tell you. So oh, Jan is here. I didn't see. There you go. I didn't see you, Jan. Jan's jumping in with a nomination. Vegas Michelle says nope. You guys are shy. Okay, Articulate, I like it. She can't do it this Friday because she's getting ready to go on the road, but she will. She will come on. I like it. Oh, Joseph T., you're getting called out. Joseph T., you'd be a good one. You would be a good one. Joseph T's too busy. He's in the lab. All right, we're striking out here, Moel. Watson, you got nominated. You've been quiet. What do you think? We'd love to hear from the wizard. The people have spoken. NASDAQ's getting a little bouncy. Watson's got an agent we have to speak to, apparently. Fish chiming in. You'd be a good one too, Fish. Trade Scout? Where's Trade Scout at? I don't think he's here. Apparently Moel set the bar too high. Need topics? Yeah, I mean, I think the whole idea that Moel and I talked about was just bringing members on for 10, 15 minutes and just have them kind of introduce themselves, just kind of share what's working for them in their trading, a little bit about their journey. Nothing crazy, just casual. James G's out of town. All right, James G, I'll put you in for a few weeks out. It's all right. It's all right. It's good to hear I put a voice with a profile. All right, we got about 8 minutes till MOC. Oh, these options look pretty cheap here. Let's see, the 25 butterfly. Already trading over $1.50, it looks like. All right, I'm going to try to get out of my June 4, June 5. Before MOC. Just trying to get out for a scratch, not filling. Oh, there it went. That's the one I was thinking that I mentioned I was going to hold, but I'm just going to close it. Keep half of that other one. Let the red folder news pass tomorrow morning. All right. So all good on my DCs for now, for the day. Sneak peek time. Okay, let's do it. I wasn't sure. I was actually going to ask you that. All right, you guys ready for a little sneak peek of what's coming on Flux before MOC? We've got a 0 DTE dashboard in beta. Really in alpha right now. It'll be in beta when we release it, but here's what we got. So I'm not going to talk about the GEX yet, but so here's what the dashboard looks like. By the way, I noticed if you move around this, Joseph T, the VIX doesn't follow, so then it gets a little offline, but I don't know if that matters. Anyway, so it's a 1 minute chart of SPX, and then we've got the intraday expected move, which is the pink line. And then we've got the average expected move, and you can choose the duration. So you could say, what's the average at this specific time over the last 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. So you can choose what that is to give yourself a point of reference for where the expected move is today versus where it is on the average of these different durations. I think we've got 17 days worth of data right now. Yeah, so if I put it on 20, it reverts back to 17. But that'll continue to build till we have more duration, so you can get an idea of where the average has been, to get an idea of if the options are a little overpriced compared to the average or underpriced. And all of these things you can click off of the chart or click on. We've got the VIX down below. We've also got the the daily standard deviation move, both the 1 standard deviation and the 2 standard deviation move. So that's static. So that's based on the opening bell, basically. You got the 1 standard deviation move for the day and the 2 standard deviation move. You can see we've been well inside the expected move for today. We've got the weekly standard deviation. Click that off. So this is based on last Friday's close through next Friday's close. So a full 1 week, including the weekend, of what the 1 week standard 1 standard deviation would be. The 1 week expected move. And then we've also got the high low of the previous day and the open close of the previous day. So again, you can kind of click these on or off. And that's kind of the gist of it. So if you've ever been on that 0 DTE SPX, you've seen kind of similar. So something to kind of, really looking at this from a 0 DTE premium selling or RIC type standpoint to give some context on entries and management for those types of trades. And then in the process of building out a gamma exposure portion as well. It's not ready yet. But again, some other things to provide context for 0 DTE trading. Let's see, am I missing anything, Joseph T? Oh yeah. Yeah, and then the rewind feature. So you can kind of look back, see what the different things were saying at specific times, and then see what price did and see what things did. So you can kind of rewind back and forth. Go live. You can skip back 30 minutes at a time, or you can just click and drag. Click back to live. What do you mean, Jan? Based on open interest? We do have MOC coming here in about 1 minute. Let me get my volume on.
One minute now until we get the market on close imbalance.
Let me just check the pricing here. 20 butterflies, about $1.70. Yeah, working on that, Watson. Thought we had a source, but it doesn't quite give us what we need, but
Ten seconds.
Options Depth, is that a company?
Market on close imbalance. S&P 500 sell side 2.4 billion. Nasdaq 100 sell side 782 million. Dow 30 sell side 640 million. Mag 7 sell side 482 million.
2.4 billion sell side. The market's kind of sitting there to bouncing. I'm going to go ahead and enter a 20 butterfly. Try to get filled at $2. Looked like it was trading there. But I did not get filled. Well, I had my order at 205 on accident. The 25 butterfly, I'm going to put in an order there as well. Filled on the 25s. All right, we'll just sit here and watch SPX on Flux. Don't even need to bring up my toss chart now. Yeah, so it's still a work in progress, but yeah, I mean, it provides a lot of context. I've been talking about, Moel has a really nice process of that different things that he uses to kind of use as criteria before he
So keep in mind
Elmo or something like that.
At 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time, we're expecting a text release from Fed's
Elliot has his process, and I was primarily just looking at a price chart, but I think adding some more confluences makes a lot of sense. And so really part of this is for me just to kind of build a little bit better mechanics around that. As you've probably noticed, I haven't traded one Elmo all of May. Now the price action hasn't been awesome most days anyway, but part of it is I'm trying to come up with a way to kind of build out those mechanics. Somebody else had a question I think I missed. Oh, data list, there it is. Would there be value in adding the orb lines where you can select via drop down the end of orb time? I've thought about that. I've thought about, adding some different drawing tools. The ability to draw trend lines or moving averages and things like that as well. But I don't know. I haven't decided. I mean, obviously we all have that available on our charts. So I'm kind of trying to keep it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I wouldn't say no, but I'm not sure where we want to go with that. Yeah, I figured the Elmos probably had a good day. Moel, did you hit some Elmos as well? All winners. Joseph T hit 2. SPX coming back down towards 20. SPX below 20. Yeah, small for Moel. That's like a 10 lot. 4 minutes to go. Sitting on 20. I would assume you had a pretty big day bicking, Elliot. Sorry, I shouldn't jinx it. We do have 3 minutes left. Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. A little under 3 minutes, still sitting at 20. Pretty decent sell side number came out. Market didn't really move. There we go. Now I got the exact SPX price in view. Mahomes is in. It's sitting in max profit territory. If it can stay below 20, I'm on the 25. Up to 21. SPX trying to stay green for the day. It's right on the unchanged mark. Less than a minute to go. Don't need a bounce here, SPX. Do not need a bounce. It's at 22, which is my break even. Ten seconds. Need to drop back below 20. It's trying.
Order cancelled.
Little mark up and then mark down. So 75.20.55. 75.20.55. So not max profit, but profitable nonetheless. All right, so Mahomes profitable. Little profits on the DC time machines, basically kind of a scratch. Did get one transform though. Day trading. Good day of day trading. Good day of BIX. My best day of the month for BIX. 2 pins, no double stops. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I haven't seen that in all of May. So TAT says over 3,000. That should be closer to about 3,500 or so after selling some longs. All right, all. That's a wrap for the day. We'll be back at the day trading first thing in the morning at the opening bell. We do have some pre-market news, GDP and core PCE. Otherwise, everybody have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.